What would you say is actually I want to ask you, if there was one move, one sort of technique that, say, a martial artist or a boxer, or what would it be that you think is the most fundamental technique? Hey guys, it's Coach Eli here. Today I've got a very special guest. We're going to have a bit of a Q&A with the coaches.
Awesome.
So this is Mark Erbsleben. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, you did. You did really well. That's great.
So Mark is my boxing coach. We just got done with a nice workout session then. Absolutely killed me. Going over all the basics,
some good drills.
Yeah. So a little bit about Mark. You hold several records of push-ups, and tell us about.
I set a world record on the Ray Martin show in 1991 by performing 1,205 slap push-ups. That's push-ups to the chest.
Yeah.
I did them in sets of 5 for an hour to set a world record, a Guinness Book of World Record.
Is that still?
No, well actually the Guinness Book of Records was there. The Australian official was there.
Yeah.
But then we noticed it didn't go into the American book, because it was an American book. So when we wrote to them, they said, look, there's a section in there that's for endurance feats, and unfortunately you can't be part of that. There wasn't enough room or some ridiculous thing like that. But it was a record, but an unofficial record.
Yeah.
And I did it with a guy called John Edmondson.
Yeah.
Another occasion, we did something for the Children's Leukemia Foundation where I did 5,000 push-ups in 3 hours and 12 minutes.
Wow.
That was in sets of 30, but the push-ups weren't as good, whereas when I did the push-up for the world record, they had to be full push-ups with a slap to the chest. So.
That's amazing, man. And you also chin-up record.
Oh no, I did for the Shepherd Centre for deaf children that are born deaf. I did 485 chin-ups in an hour. And it had to be full, so fully stretched all the way to the chin, and I did them in reps of 5. But I think that gymnasts would kill that, but it was still, 1 hour of chin-ups was good fun.
100%. So fair to say that you've accomplished a fair bit.
Yeah, I like endurance. Type of stuff.
So and that's not all you do. You're obviously my boxing coach. You have quite an extensive martial arts history. So would you start from so you started off in Zendukai?
I started off in Taekwondo, and then got to my brown belt, I think, in Taekwondo. Then started Zendukai and finished really my probationary 5th degree.
Wow.
But in between that, I did a lot of kickboxing coaching, and then I did a bit of boxing coaching as well because my brother-in-laws are boxers, the Waters brothers, and so I had the opportunity to train Guy Waters, who actually went for a world title in Germany.
Yeah, wow.
So
we caught up with him the other day.
Good boxer.
Fights and that.
So a bit of boxing. Had a gym called Rock Solid Fitness where we trained kickboxers and boxers and had lots of fights in those days. So they were good old days. Yeah.
And you had a few fights, yeah?
Yeah, only 4, 2 wins, 2 losses.
Yeah.
Had all the technique, but didn't have the grunt, that hard killer instinct. So I was a better teacher and very technical, but you need to be a certain breed to fight.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing that really drew me to you and your teaching technique and stuff. You're an excellent coach. You're very technical about body mechanics and just the whole breakdown of how the body works. What would you say is actually I wanted to ask you, if there was one move, one sort of technique that, say, a martial artist or a boxer, or what would it be that you think is the most fundamental technique?
Because I'm biased here, I think the most important things are left and right. I just, even in a self-defense situation where you go, mate, I don't want to hassle, you're in that position where you step back and you're in your stance and you're talking to them, just a straight left and a right. Fundamentally would be the most, from stand-up, right? So I'm talking stand-up would be the most important thing to learn. I would, just a straight jab and a right hand, a right cross would be...
Definitely. Is there anything in particular that you see, say martial artists in general, is there certain things that you see them doing that you're like, don't do that? Like, is there a certain technique that's commonly.
Yeah, I think sometimes we can have like 1,000 techniques, but realistically only 100 of them really work.
Yeah.
But that's the skill of being a martial artist. And a martial artist isn't just about only using things that actually work. You know, you've got katas and patterns and so many other things that don't necessarily work in a street fight, for instance. But it's an art. So you're learning all this different stuff.
Yeah.
But then when you break it all down, and we can see that through mixed martial arts, then you get to see the reality of what actually works and what actually doesn't work.
That's right. Yeah.
But I think one of the big things for me with martial artists or kickboxers or boxers is understanding range. You can be the best fighter in the world, you can throw good hands, good feet, you might be a great grappler, but if you don't understand range and distance, then you can come unstuck.
Yeah,
once you master range, and I think as much as Conor McGregor might have, you know, his character isn't necessarily always the best, he understood range and timing really, really well, and he was a master at it, where he'd be just out of that range where the guy couldn't hit him, and then all it took was a step in and he could nail him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Look, I not too fond of the old McGregor, but I do think he definitely does bring something to the sport. And one thing I was quite surprised was he went in to try and box a boxer when he fought Mayweather. I was really hoping he'd come out in that long karate stance, you know, because he's going to use his hands, but he wouldn't be able to get touched then, right?
Well, he did the same thing with, is it Poirier?
Poirier, yeah.
Poirier.
Yeah.
He started to box Poirier, who was a good boxer, rather than going back. And in his second fight, you could see him doing really well, just in that typical stance that he was used to.
Yeah.
You don't have to adapt to you adapt to a fighter, but his strengths rely, you know, his strength was the weight, the style in which he fought.
Yeah.
And he won every fight up to that stage.
Exactly. Because it is a very unique sort of style. Like, you only sort of see a few different people with that long sort of Lyoto Machida.
Yeah, that long karate, and it worked.
And, Stephen Thompson is another one.
Yeah, that's right. With the great kicks. Yeah.
But it does leave the front leg exposed, so those leg stomps, they're pretty gnarly.
That's right, a little side kick.
Yeah, see a lot of people come unstuck with that. That's awesome. Like, are you excited for any upcoming fights at the moment?
Actually, I don't know what's coming up, man. This COVID thing's got me.
Yeah.
Is there any fights coming up?
There is. I think it's 267, 268, 269.
I know the world champion, the females fighting. What's her name?
Not Wei Ling, the other one, yeah?
No, Nunes.
Yeah.
She's fighting. I know the Chinese girl.
Wei Ling.
I love her.
Yeah,
she's great.
She's awesome. Actually, there's a lot of really good fights.
But she's fighting the world champion. You know how she lost the title. Now she's fighting
again. Okay, right. Yeah, excellent. Because I saw there's Dan Hooker's fighting again.
I love Dan Hooker.
He's amazing.
Great fighter.
That's TC.
Great counter fighter.
Yeah. I think. Chandler is fighting. Who's Chandler fighting?
I don't know.
He's fighting. Oh no, Dustin Poirier is fighting Charles Oliveira as well.
Charles Oliveira.
Yeah. So he had those really good submissions and.
Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
I got a mental
tall, dark skin fellow, blonde hair. Yeah, who did he fought Tony Ferguson, and he had put Tony Ferguson in an armbar, and he didn't tap, put him in a triangle, he didn't tap.
It's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a mad fight. But yeah, we'll have to check out the cards later.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're just stacked. I know,
so that's 266.
267, 268, and 269.
Wow. Okay.
They're just phenomenal. We'll have to come over here and put up a big screen. Yeah. That's so good. What do you? Quick touch on Jiu Jitsu, coming into obviously you're a very stand up. Everything starting with Taekwondo, and then karate, and then.
But I did grapple a long time ago when it first sort of became the thing.
Yeah.
This is many years ago, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Especially with gi.
Yep.
And I love guard, and I worked from the ground. And I really enjoyed it, but I was never trained properly by experts in jiu-jitsu, and I just saw it on YouTube or did whatever I did, but I loved it. And then I got the opportunity to spar a friend of mine who's a black belt and another friend who's a brown belt,
Yeah.
and they ended my career in grappling. I just tried too hard, got a couple of injuries. I'm getting older now, and I thought, nah.
Yeah, you're looking pretty good for an old man.
No, but I like my training, and if I'm getting injuries like that, I just. But if I had a choice, it would be grappling.
Yeah,
for sure. I really enjoy, even though I love boxing and kickboxing, I just love grappling.
Yeah, I definitely think for me personally, I think my base that I would love to just build and continually build is my boxing and my Jiu Jitsu / wrestling. So I think it's sort of all mixed in now. It's like,
and I think that's where they come unstuck. You know, if you look at a lot of mixed martial art fights, they don't spend enough time really working on their hands.
Yeah.
Like because I focus a lot on that, I can see a lot of faults and stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, and again, I'm a coach and I teach. But I do see if there was improvement in that, it would make a big difference to the stand-up. You know, just understanding the fundamentals of boxing and using that to set yourself up with your kicks or to take someone down, or just learning how to roll and block properly and throw good punches properly would make a big difference.
100%. It's at the end of the day, you know, you start standing up, and you don't come out and you don't throw your kicks like a jab. You know, someone just grab and throw you on the ground.
And look, it's hard too because when I used to fight, I hated getting hit. Right?
Yeah.
So I was a great kicker, and probably because of my taekwondo background, and I still threw hands, but nothing like I do now.
Yeah.
And I think that. Once it's a different range, so that means when you're boxing, you've got to get closer, and you've got to learn how to duck and weave and move out of the way, or you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
And you've got to learn to take a punch. It's a whole different ball game. You know, you're getting closer and closer to someone.
Yeah.
It makes it hard. Yeah.
Definitely, I think understanding range is definitely a key element. And I got sent a video of one of my friends. He has a karate school on the coast, and he sent me this video of these two guys. I think they were doing Muay Thai or something like that. And what they were doing was standing straight in front of each other and just unleashing.
Just going for it.
Yeah, neither of them were giving a mile either way. You know, they were just standing there like, no, I'm going to get you, you know, and just going to get hurt. I understand going in and just going for the power and just sort of holding your ground and stuff. But using that range to your advantage instead of just trying to impose.
Now, look, a good example was Nunes. Is it Nunes versus the other world champion, very butch-looking Cyborg.
Yeah,
they're both there. They both had major egos. Yeah. But you could just see this happen. There's two incidents actually. Yeah. They started landing shots on each other. Yeah. Cyborg got hit. But kept coming even though she was hurt and lost the title because of it. Yeah. She should have backed off, been more defensive, regained her position a little bit, used her range a bit. Once she recovered, then came back again. Yeah. But her ego just drove her to go there, and then Nunes nailed her, and that was the end of her title. Yeah. The same thing happened when I think it was what's his name?
Cody Garbrandt.
He fought TJ and got nailed, and the same thing, he kept coming when he should have backed off, recovered, and again, it's ego. That's why when you're in the ring, or wherever you're fighting, emotion is important. You need to be able to, you need to use your brain, not your emotions.
Exactly.
And a lot of fighters are just too emotional. Yeah. So when they're getting tired, they try harder rather than backing off because it's emotional, and I need to show that I'm strong, I'm the man, you know. Yeah. And they lose because of it. Whereas if you just used your brain and just backed off and just recovered a bit, make all the difference. Yeah.
It's I've got that. I'm a huge TJ Dillashaw fanboy.
Oh, that fight that he did just recently.
Yeah.
Man, that was top notch.
One eye, one leg, and he still got the win.
It was a well-deserved win.
I do feel like he won the match, but I don't think he won the fight. But he definitely won the match. Did everything he had to do to get the points. And it's going to be, because he did the most of that fight, like I said.
Oh, it was a good fight.
One eye.
Did you think he won?
I thought he won the match.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah. Well, that's who's fighting. Corey Sanderhagen's fighting Peter Young.
Who? Corey
Sanderhagen.
Oh, man.
So that's the guy he fought. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's what's happening. So yeah. Oh, no, that's what I was saying. I was just going through my head. I just remember seeing him as Cody's coming into TJ, he just stepped back, boom, and then he kept on coming. So he stepped back. Boom, step back.
Reminds me of the Mayweather.
Just like the Mayweather, boom. You know, and he just kept on moving. He kept on coming.
Yeah, but you see, you think a fighter would actually pick that up.
Yeah,
you know. So this is what makes a good fighter, is that they're able to read their opponent while they're fighting. Yeah. So they're able to control it to a degree. So if you're getting nailed or something, you think your brain would say, and I'm getting nailed with the same thing.
Yeah.
Or the coach should at least say, look, you're getting nailed because of this each time.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I do think Dwayne Ludwig has done amazing with TJ striking, considering he came from a wrestling background as well.
Yeah. Because he's very unorthodox. So at first I found him difficult to watch because I'm very structured and everything's technical, and then I was noticing he was moving, he wasn't even standing in a stance and doing all this. But when he holds his ground, when his foundation is strong and he lets go.
Kind of remind you of someone.
Footwork,
I might as well talk about footwork. I love the neo footwork. That's what I've sort of, as I call it. I've heard it a couple times. I'm like, yeah, perfect. You know, so I've got the karate background. I've got a black belt in karate now. And you know, I've been practicing MMA now for like nearly 8 years or something. And you know, I've been doing boxing and Muay Thai and all these things. So I have all these different stances in my brain and all these different techniques that are the same techniques done differently, and it gets quite confusing until I realize, you know, each individual technique is a different tool.
That's right.
Learn how to use that tool.
Absolutely. And look, you can use different or awkward footwork. You know, depending on where you are, you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? When you're in close, fundamentally you want to be in a good posture to be able to throw techniques and stuff like that too.
In close, I like to get in nice and square. And when I'm competing against, say I come up against a taekwondo or karate sort of guy, they're usually in that long stance, and I'll meet them in that long stance.
Yeah, you just adapt to it.
And then I'll just turn in and I'll come right in the pocket, and the crowd's in, they don't know what to do. Just come in and just throw their hands, and they're like, oh no, you know. And I love that, you know. And like another thing I like to do is no matter where I am, if I'm in my stance, they can come all the way around here. I've got basically a 180 degrees, because if they're here, I'm in my bladed stance, and then as they come around here, gets more square.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and in that front stance, you can go into a more Muay Thai style base, just bring your foot in. As they come around, you're in your southway stance, and as they come around, you're in your bladed stance.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're 180 degrees.
Yeah, look, Bill Wallace used to fight side on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Great with that left leg.
Yeah, it's yeah. So I don't know. Like I feel like we're going to see more and more of that, more and more of that sort of neo footwork, where people are going to go, like maybe I'll do a bit of southpaw and I'll do a bit of orthodox, or
I think it's important. I think to be a good fighter too, and this is what I did maybe a year ago, was I started fighting southpaw.
Yeah.
And so, and actually you put me onto that through, what's that boxer's name?
Vasily Lomachenko.
Yeah. He just, with the way he ripped and threw hooks with his strongest arm.
Yeah.
So I just adapted. It only took me probably 3 months.
Yeah.
I feel very comfortable on both sides.
That's so good. Yeah.
So now it'd be different if I got in the ring and started sparring. Maybe it'd be a whole different ballgame. But at least hitting the bag and the pads, I feel very comfortable. And I think because then you're able to adapt to some degree.
Yeah.
So you need to, obviously when you're training for a fight, you need to stick to what you're used to and what you're good at.
Yeah.
But with a little bit of training, if something goes wrong and you can change, not only is it going to stuff the tempo of the other person up, and you can't read you as well. If I hurt my left hand, maybe I can turn and use my right hand to jab, you know. Yeah. So, I think it should be part of everyone's training.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And I do think, it's something that it's good to have in the back pocket. Like sparring, I was sparring with Bear, with Jason, and so he's quite good on the ground and stuff, and we were just doing stand up, and I threw a front kick, and I busted my front toe, and you know how much that hurts when you get the elbow on the front toe, and it's just like, I'm not throwing any more front kicks, and he's like, excellent. And I just take him to the ground, and then as soon as he came in, I just squared up my stance, and I was like, all right, we're going to stand up, we're going to box now. And I just kept him at bay with my hands, and he couldn't get to the ground.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's if you have to get good at it though. It's like you can't just practice it one way for a little bit and go, yeah, no, I can do that now. It's like it doesn't work like that.
No, you got to put the practice. Repetition is the mother of skill, So the more that one of the key strengths I think in any martial artist boxer, it doesn't matter grappler or whoever you are, is consistency. If you're consistent with whatever you're training all the time, over and over again, you get good at it, but you just can't adapt to unless you practice it. Practice makes perfect.
I recently came across a sort of quote in this thing I was reading, and it said it was a definition for agile, and it basically went on to say that, you know, being able to solve real-time problems. Well, that's basically it, really. But it sounded much nicer when I did it, you know.
It's good. It's a good way of
being able to solve problems as they arise.
That's right. So that's what makes a good fighter. You're in the middle of, you know, you've got 2 minutes, 5 minute rounds, 3 minute round boxing, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Having the ability to just stay calm in the face of, you know, somebody trying to nail you.
Yeah.
But thinking while you're actually fighting, that makes a good fighter. So they're able to adapt. They don't even need the coach.
No.
Because their brain is controlled. Whereas if you're in your emotions and you're up and you're just like this, man, it just takes it away.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like we saw that, we'll talk about the TJ Dillashaw fight with Sanderhagen, you know, and he had blood going in his eye and his knee popped. He went in
but he adapted, Steve.
He adapted, that's right. And because he's a wrestler, that's his base, right? So he just locked him up and controlled the ring, controlled the person. He couldn't actually lift him because the leg was fucked, but couldn't lift him, and he couldn't sit on any of his punches. But he was able to basically just outmaneuver him and outthink him, you know, and win the match. Yeah,
good fight. So
that was cool, you know. I can't wait for his next one. I think he wants the title fight next. So
who's the world champion? Who's the world champion in Poirier's?
Oliveira. Oliveira. Yeah. So I thought Oliveira was fighting Michael Chandler, but
no, that's right. I thought that's right.
Maybe that's who's fighting.
Because I thought you'd think that Poirier. I always say that name wrong, man. Poirier would deserve a world title fight.
Oh, I think he's the interim.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But Hunter, I think between Oliveira and Poirier, they're hard names.
I know.
Between those two, I think that is the fight. That and I'd love to see TJ versus Sanderhagen too, and TJ versus Peter Yan. I think
I don't know who Peter Yan is.
He's the one that the bantamweight champion. He lost the championship because he soccer kicked the guy in the face on the ground. He was winning the fight. We're watching it here.
This is my age.
He was coming down and he just went. He had one hand on the ground saying,
I remember that. He lost.
And
that was it. Lost the fight.
Lost the title. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd love to see that. I still got to watch Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder.
I
haven't watched it.
I watched the highlights.
Yeah.
Amazing. For heavyweights, big guys throwing punches, so it wasn't necessarily perfect technique, but the world champions there, they're just it was a great fight. Down they went, up they went, just it was a great fight.
I can't wait. I gotta go back. So many fights I want to watch. You know, I was a little bit disappointed with the well, actually not so much disappointed, but the Nick Diaz versus Robbie Waller.
No, was it Nick or no?
Nick.
It was Nick.
Yeah,
the older brother.
Yeah.
No, I missed. I never saw the fight.
Really smooth, unorthodox boxing. Very slow and awkward though. But yet everything he threw hit.
Yeah.
He was just like pop.
Who was that?
Nick. Yeah. So he's like pop, pop, pop. Just wasn't doing any damage though.
But he lost, didn't he?
He lost. Yeah. He got rocked, knocked down, and then he just said, "No, I'm done."
He gave up.
Yeah. He just got knocked to the ground, maybe like the second or third, and busted his nose up, and he just said, "Nah, I'm done."
Yeah, actually, and to think about it, it's a smart thing to do. Why would you go back up?
Yeah.
And I remember Troy Waters, my brother-in-law. He was fighting. He's had 2 world title fights, one against Terry Norris, and another guy against the Mexican, the world champion, who was just a tremendous fighter. And Troy was rated #1 in the world.
Yeah.
But you could see that he gets hit the first time, and then he fights back, and then he gets hit the second. It was more to the back of the head, and he was on one knee, and you could see him think, getting $200,000 American dollars. If I get back up, this guy's gonna give me brain damage. Yeah. So he just stayed on his knee, and that was the end of the fight. And that was a smart thing to do.
That's the risk and reward, right? Like, is it worth it?
No, it's not, because it means that the next fight struggles, or a few fights, you start with the end in mind. So you're thinking, if I keep getting hit like this, what am I going to be like in the future?
Exactly. Speaking of getting hit like that, Figueiredo and Morano. Do you know the flyweights, the little guys? The one was a little Mexican dude.
No, I just saw it. They just fought.
Yeah, they just had number 2.
Yeah,
And the Mexican guy won. They're going for number 3. One of these cards, one of these 3 cards, they're going for number 3.
It's going to be good, man.
Speaking of brain damage. Yeah. So.
But you get less brain damage. I know people disagree with this, but in mixed martial arts, there's less brain damage.
Oh, 100%.
Because your focus isn't totally on the head. And when you've got 16-ounce gloves, and you're actually hitting a head, your brain moves. But you might get more cuts at MMA, but you don't get as much. And you can talk to boxers, and you'll see the difference between the two. Sure, some MMA guys are a bit slurry with their voice, but it's mainly the boxers that have been hammered.
One of my old boxing coaches was very much like that, and his style of sparring was very much the old school. Just let's just get rocked.
I remember Troy and Dean fighting. Troy was a middleweight, 70 kilos or something, and Dean was a heavyweight, and they used to spar before fights, get ready for a fight, and they were brothers. They used to smash each other. I saw them fight once in the ring. This is a training session, and it was worse than the actual fight. Blood everywhere, and they just were smashing each other. And so that's what made him so good. But then again, potentially get brain. Luckily, that neither one of them got brain damage, but that's how you get brain damage.
Exactly. And I have noticed that more and more professional fighters aren't sparring in their camps coming up to the fight.
No, that's Hawaiian.
Max Holloway, Tony Ferguson, a whole bunch of other people as well. So we said no, we don't spar in our fight camp.
Fundamentally, they're used to sparring and they're thinking they need to stay, but now they're backing off. It's interesting concept to see what actually, because I suppose you would recover and. I wonder about the fitness. It'd be interesting. You'll soon know because they'll see what they're like when they're fighting.
That's like when I have my my students sparring and stuff. I just tell them just take it easy. No one wants brain damage. CT is a real thing. So do you really want to just take it easy? And be more technical, be tactical. And think about what you're doing and. But then sometimes you gotta let them go and
have a go. That's why I love all our weaving and darkening. Just don't like getting hit. I've never liked getting hit in the head. So the more we can block and move, you're gonna get hit, but
of course, Well, that's the nature of the beast, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Growing up, I remember me and all the kids in the neighborhood and stuff. We used to always just fight. It was just a thing what we like to do. We'd just be like. All right, you two got to fight now, and you got to fight them 2 guys. Okay. This is way before any martial arts training, anything like that. And
that would have been fun to watch.
Throwing the tennis balls and stuff like that. But I definitely got hit a lot more than I should have, and definitely lost a lot more fights than I won. But look, if I could sort of go back, I would learn to get out of the way. Because there's no point really getting that brain damage.
No, that's right.
But look, I think today it was really nice to have a workout in the garage.
Good. It was great. You did well.
Thanks,
You're sharp, mate. That's good.
Cheers.
No, what I like is that some people are. I think it's a gift. I think there are some people. I can actually look at somebody. Sounds strange. I can watch somebody doing ballet. And my brain works where I can see something technically that doesn't look right compared to the others, right? Because it just picks up the little details. And that's what makes a really good coach, because it's tweaking those little movements that can make a difference to power, speed, distance, range, how fast you can move forward or move back, or sideways. And so you're like that. You have a tendency to pick up those little things. So technically you're good, but you also have the ability to pick up where somebody's doing something wrong, and that's what makes a coach. You want somebody that can pick up those little things, Because in the long run, it makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference.
Right.
And and you want to be the most skillful at what you do.
Definitely. Is there any sort of final notes you wanted to say, or to the people watching this?
I would say I think consistency is lacking in so many areas in some ways, right? People start something or they'll put in 100% effort. And I think if somebody can be consistent, I think that's a key word. If somebody can be consistent in their training, no matter what they do, for a long period of time, then you become very skillful at what you do. but it takes time. So consistency is the key, and so you don't want to rush into something and put 100% in, because sometimes it just, it's like somebody when they come to private lessons for me to learn off me, I don't work them really hard straight away. I just do it gradually, so it becomes like a lifestyle. Same with food and diet. And so after a while, they're just so consistent that they get better and better and better. And that's what I found in my private lessons. Some of them in 2-3 years, because you're just not overdoing it with them, and it's just the consistency that makes all the difference. So consistency, I'd leave you with that word. Be consistent in your training.
Yeah, be consistent. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good word. Too many people I've seen come and go.
Yeah, that's right.
But thanks, Mike.
Awesome.
You're a legend, man.
No problem.
It was awesome to sit down and have a chat. I really enjoyed it.
No, it was awesome. Thank you for inviting me.
Anytime, this is your place. Thanks for inviting me.
Gotcha.
No worries.